What the fuck am I doing? Oh, I know. I'm back on my regular time because I fucked you all up earlier this week because I had an interview with the Whizbanger show Monday morning because she lives all the way in Spain. So here we are back at the normal time. And I am so happy and so pleased to have my guests this evening, Sledgehammer Horror, the latest and greatest horror YouTube sensation. How y'all doing tonight?
We're good. How are you?
After that intro, I couldn't be any better.
Right.
I'm just keeping it easy and greasy as normal. So,
Awesome.
But before we get into it, I want to take a quick commercial break to our fantastic sponsor across the seas, Poison Valley Clothing. Check it out.
Okay.
That's right. If you're looking for the best in original horror art, and a big fan of horror movies or just horror in general, or just like some weird ass shit, check out Poison Valley Clothing. Their website is getting put together, or it may be up now. I'm not sure, but you can most definitely put your orders in on Facebook at Poison Valley Clothing. All right. So we are back with my guest this evening, Sledgehammer Horror. And
Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. So my question is, how did you get started? What made you think to come up with a horror channel on YouTube?
Really, it was COVID, and he was kind of driving me crazy because we were quarantined together, and we always kind of talked horror. Like, that's kind of our thing. Like, we literally, our first date ever was to go see War of the Worlds. Like,
oh, nice.
17 years ago. So it's always been something that him and I, we, do together, and we actually agree on.
Basically have a passion for horror.
That's the one thing that we agree on. And so, so he started making his,
my first
horror movie. And then I kind of was behind the scenes, kind of gave my insight on things. And then he was like, well, come and do some other things with me, like on video. And I was like, no, I'm really not wanted to be in front of the camera. Like, that wasn't me at all. And he coaxed me into doing it. And so here we are.
Yeah. She was literally like, man, I didn't realize how much I don't like you. You need a hobby now that I have to spend every minute with you.
Like, we're doing too much. Like, can you go do something else?
Right.
Holy shit. Well, I can definitely say, during COVID was probably the most artistic anyone has ever been, probably in their whole life, because you didn't have that hustle and bustle and got to run here, run there, do the work thing, all that other shit. So you're forced to sit there. It's like, well, what do you do? Well, I know what I did. Watched fucking horror movies all day and promoted my band that I was in. So, a lot of great shit came out of that COVID era, which is, it's kind of weird to say that it took a lame apocalypse to have all this great shit come out, but that's what happened.
Right. Yeah.
So that's really cool. So you said you made your own indie horror film?
We did. Home is Where the Haunt Is. It is a horror short.
I love it.
It is available on YouTube. No longer a members only. And it's the semi-autobiographical story of my mother's real life passing. Just been fictionalized a little bit to spook it up a little bit, but a lot of what you see on there is 100% real.
Now that is amazing. And anyone watching out there in Three Witches Land can catch this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. For free. You heard it here.
Yep. And all you gotta do is go to youtube.com/sledgehammer horror and you can check out the short film there. As well as our interviews and some of the things that Ashley talked about. When I was doing this, my first horror movie was really the first thing that we started with Sledgehammer Horror. And I was like, because she's the genius of the group, and I'm the pretty one. And she was like, I got these ideas for these segments I think you should do. And the first two that she came up with were one called Didn't See That Coming, where we do like an in-depth deep dive review on a movie with a twist ending. And then the other one is called Versus, where we take a remake, and we give a fair shake to each one and see which one we prefer of the two. And I was like, yeah, I would love to do these, but the only way I will completely agree to do these is if you are doing them with me. If you'll get in front of the camera and you'll do this with me. And
at first I was like, no, like I'm good. Like just let me be behind the scenes. And then he talked me into doing it. And I feel like I get better every every interview, every live that we do. I get get better at it. So
find yourself.
For sure.
Because when I got into this business a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, actually, I didn't know what the fuck was happening. All I knew is I was interviewing a band that I knew personally that were label mates of mine on Kingside Records. And we just basically sat there like it was just a regular conversation. I'm like, well, shit, I'll, drink some bourbon along with it and let's just have a go at it.
Right.
And here I am still fucking doing it, So
it's
so much fun to talk horror with people. Yeah. It's like that's our passion.
Especially
like I love
live.
It. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Which all of you out there watching right now in Three Witches Land, please give us your comments. As soon as I said that, somebody just had something. Let's see. Reaper has gotten better over time. Oh, thank you, John.
That was very kind, John.
Yeah.
To be honest, like it's funny. Like I gotta know just from your point of view, Reaper. Like, do you ever go back to some of your first episodes and watch them and just be like, "Oh my god,
can't believe I said that."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone back. I've seen some of the ones that were just like, "Yeah, that kicked ass," and then all of a sudden I go back to watch it. It's like, that fucking sucked.
You're crazy.
Where was I going with that? How many times did I forget what the fuck I was going to ask, I'm just like, I just learned to get better. And, sometimes if I have like a more high profile, actor or actress or director, somebody that comes on, it's like, I better know my shit. Or otherwise I'm going to be dead in the water. I'm a little bit more on top of it, but yeah. So I definitely do that. The early days of my show, I mean, it was just kind of like a free for all. There wasn't a whole lot of direction, but over time, just kind of developed and found my niche, and sweet. Welcome,
hey, what's up, Nate?
What's happening? And from Nathan, what's up, guys?
Hey, Nathan.
What's up, Steven? What's up, Nathan? These are two regulars on our channel. So, hey,
awesome.
Steven. Hey, Nathan. Nice to see you, gentlemen.
Yeah. Yes, the Ari Lehman episode of my show was pretty fucking awesome. He's the guy that
Jason,
played the
baby.
very first Jason. So, which I'm sure you knew that.
Oh yeah, we were lucky enough to be able to chill with Ari a little bit, and I agree with you. The guy is a saint. I think he is. He's such a character, and
he absolutely had us dying laughing the whole time.
Just the way, like his presence and everything he does, whether it's on stage, when he's playing his guitar, like everything Ari does, like he's such a great guy. And isn't
that the epitome of badassery right there? Somebody that can literally get up and rock out a fucking guitar in a metal band.
Yeah.
Only he can do it. I was totally blown away because at first when he told me that's what he played, I was snickering to myself. I ain't gonna lie. Man, then I went and listened to the shit and I was like, whoa, he's copying the other guitar player. I'm like, whoa. So yeah, I mean, that was a fucking blast. I also had Jason Brooks on here. fucking loved him. He was great.
Mhm.
You know, as well as some others. But yeah, like I said, you know, it's a development thing. Everyone's got their own personality. Like, you know, my wife has her own show, and sometimes we do shows together. It's just, you know, where before we got together, she had her own show, I had my own show. So,
Okay.
you know, we do have that option to do shows together occasionally, which is a lot of fucking fun. Most of the time, they don't want to hear me talk anyway.
Well, I'm telling you, man, one of the best shows that we've ever had on our channel. Ashley did 2 separate episodes of A Ghouls Night In, where she had just like a bunch of fellow female content creators, and I wasn't involved at all. Like, I literally sat downstairs and watched, and like I was like that proud father. Like, I'm watching my wife, who I've been with for 17 years, who's always been the introvert of the two of us. Like, we are complete and polar opposites in everything in life, and I'm watching her just absolutely crush it. He did the top 10 final guys and the top 10 horror moms. And those are 2 of my favorite episodes. And I wasn't even in them. Like, and I'm being genuine. Like, they were so fun to watch, because not only am I watching my wife, I'm watching a bunch of my best friends in the community just go out there and absolutely dominate this episode. And it's so much fun when I get to watch my wife's genius unfold, not just be a part of it.
Thanks.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, John. John says, Sister Mischief, I'd badass and nothing stops her. Okay. I think it was is badass. But that's all right. We figured it out here. Yes, those were some great episodes. Awesome. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate you. And thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. This is fucking awesome. I say it every week. If you're watching, goddammit, say something. This is your time to ask questions and get to know my guests. You know, and even if you have questions from wow. So, looks like somebody else came in here. All right. Kyler Kenny. Hey, beautiful people. Hey, devil. Now that's nice.
Hey.
Hey, Kyler.
That's awesome. He says he's sorry he's late.
Hey, as long as you weren't late for supper, we're all okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
We were all late to supper. We scrounged it down as fast as we could.
Dude, and it's so funny because like as I'm like, you know, we're gonna break the fourth wall here and talk to people about what happened before the interview. We're sitting here talking, getting to know each other, and I'm eating, and like Ashley is like punching me in my leg, like, hurry up, you idiot.
Well,
like,
I mean, you were just scarfing it down, like slapping it on me.
And I promise you, we're usually
yeah,
right.
This is true.
We're usually a lot more professional than that, but we have kids, and you know, sometimes that type of thing happens. So it was pretty rough, man, to just jump in. I was like, shit, I gotta eat my dinner, because if not,
he would get hangry.
I'll end up looking like Paul Blart, man. I'm sitting here.
Oh, I know how that goes, brother. I know how that goes. Yeah, and I was actually just talking to my wife before the show. I'm like, I'm so glad that we didn't have to bring our twins here, because me trying to do the show, and if they were here and running around, oh man, I wouldn't be able to concentrate. That's just the way it is.
Right.
Oh,
Big Papa Bear, you know. But yeah, that's one of the things I was really impressed with is the diversity. There's no 2 shows the same. You know, it's always something different. And, you know, when it comes to creating content and stuff like that, I think that's good that you don't. Maybe you have a name of a show that's always the same, but, you know, you can always subtitle, make it a little different, change it up. I mean, my makeup has evolved over time as well. I mean, I started out like the worst, horrible version of, let's say, Captain Spaulding, which I get compared to all the time. And it was just bad. My wife and I were just laughing about it when she was doing my white. I'm like, yeah, she's like, this stuff is way better than what you used in the beginning. It looked like shit. I'm like, ooh, oof, ah. All right. Hey, I did
brutally honest.
Yep.
Right.
Hey, and trust me, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We have a question already. What's everyone's favorite horror movie? Usually I leave that for the end, but since somebody out in the peanut gallery asked, let's go ahead and answer it.
My favorite horror movie is People Under the Stairs. I love that movie. Enjoy it, watch it multiple times a year. And Daddy and Mommy are terrifying. the message, and I love the movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
That's a
I'm
hell
gonna
of,
go-
I mean, let me tell you, one of the weirdest.
Yeah.
Yes.
weirdest stories
Yes, for
as that
sure.
thing unfolded. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I love Stephen King, you know.
Oh yeah.
I'm going with House 1986.
Oh yeah, the first one, not the second one.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
Um,
yeah. Make sure you
yeah.
say that.
I just think that it was my first horror movie. It got me started in the genre. And even to this day, there's just so much that movie has to offer, and like I'll die on that hill. Like it's not just a horror movie, like it's a love story, it's a Vietnam War story. It's there's a lot of action to it. There's a lot of fear that goes along with it. I think that it's such a great movie, and the comedy that it has is so great. Like Harold, the next door neighbor, like he's so good.
It was Norm. It was Norm
Yeah.
from Cheers.
Yeah.
From Cheers.
He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And like
then,
the
you know,
scene
you
where
got
you
Richard Mole
watch
from Night Court
Mhm.
was in there.
yes.
So
And then you have the part with if you watch very subtly on the TV, there's a scene where Roger Cobb, William Katt's
Right.
character, is watching his ex-wife on her soap opera. And
Yep.
she's like, the line that she gives during the speech is she's like, my sister was an only child and you abused her. And like, it's so serious how she delivers the line.
Mhm.
And like, I just
Oh,
love
yeah.
that they did corny little things like that in
Yeah.
the movie. I thought that was perfect. My sister is an only child and you abused her. This is like, what the hell are you talking about? It's so good, man.
Absolutely. Now, when it comes to me, I am a fan of different decade genres. So it's hard for me to really pinpoint what my all-time favorite is. You know, I'm a huge late 50s, early 60s fan of all of the Hammer production films.
Sure.
Christopher Lee. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting his name. He was in the first Star Wars and ended up passing away. But the one that always played Van Helsing whenever there was a Dracula film.
Okay.
I just
Yeah.
can't remember his fucking name to save my life.
It always goes that way.
It does. And then I love all the Universal Monsters films.
Mhm.
I go
Yes, yeah.
all the way back to the Nosferatu silent film. The 70s is where horror really started to shine more because everyone was taking bigger chances, bigger leaps. So I'd have to say to this day, the original Halloween is my favorite.
For fuck's
Yes,
sake.
yes. Stop
Oh
it.
my God. Are we talking about
The close second was Texas Chainsaw, the original.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, are we talking about our favorite horror movies or the most overrated
Oh,
horror
my
movies? Is that
goodness.
what
It
we're
is not overrated.
Favorite.
is that what we're doing here? Oh, I
That's
thought
that's what the question was.
well, I mean, when you said Halloween 1978, I thought we changed. We were talking about the most overrated horror movies
Oh
ever
my
made.
God.
I'm sorry. I thought we had a switch up there. My bad.
No, he
Come
gives me
on, it
shit
created
all the time.
the era of the Scream Queens.
I'm gonna say, like, I think that Halloween is just a second-rate Black Christmas. I think Black Christmas did everything Halloween did better, honestly. And I like Halloween.
Now,
Like, I
are
give
you
her shit
talking
because
about the original Black Christmas or the sequel? Because I thought the sequel was far fucking better.
wait, are you talking about Yellowface Black Christmas?
Yeah,
No, I'm talking about the original. I like the OG, man. Like, I love that you never
I
see
do
Billy.
like the original,
Um,
but the screen time with the guy, this mysterious guy who's on the phone, only shows up in the end of the film. I'm sorry, I had problems with that.
I love that. I love that ambiguity of who was the killer,
Yeah.
what was his motivation. Like, you get to connect the dots yourself. Like, and we've always known, there's nothing scarier than what's in your imagination.
Mhm.
And like, to me,
For sure.
that is like the big drawing point of the original Black Christmas. And listen, Olivia Hussey's character in that movie is such a strong, powerful, independent woman in film. Like, she literally, the guy's like, you're gonna get an abortion, and she's like, he's like, you're gonna keep that baby, and she's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm getting an abortion. He's like, what about my plans? She's like, I don't give a fuck about your plans. I'm a human being. What about my plans? I'm not just gonna give up everything for you. You didn't have that back then. It was always, women were the yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. But in 1974, Olivia Hussey took that chance. And I think to this day, she's one of the most underrated final girls of all time. But she's in my top 5 because she's just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do what I want to do. This is my body. You don't control me. I'm in control of me. And And we wouldn't
no,
have.
I mean, I definitely agree that the acting in that film was great, and I even showed it to my son, um, who's 20 now, and he really liked it too. And his first introduction was actually the remake, not the original. So,
Okay.
it's like we like them both. It's just, I don't know, the craziness of the second one. I love chaos. I love how stories kind of intertwine and why this is the way it is and stuff like that. But for Halloween, obviously, Jamie fucking Lee Curtis, come the fuck on. She was astounding. And the fact that in that film, unlike the Rob Zombie remake, they didn't explain much of anything other than that when Michael was a little boy, he done, killed his sister. Know that.
He was just evil.
He's evil.
He's evil from the get-go.
I will give you that. I think that's the best part of the OG Halloween is the fact that you don't get this. Oh, he was beaten and
no,
as a child.
He was just born evil.
He's got the blackest eyes.
Yes. Right. And I mean, they alluded to it, especially with
just pure
Donald
evil.
Pleasance. But you still didn't know quite much because he ate a dog in his house, and house company got up after he got shot and fell out a fucking window 2 or 3 stories up. There was really no explanation there. So that I kind of like because you bring in that supernatural feel.
Right.
You can't kill the boogeyman unless Busta Rhymes uses Kung Fu.
Busta Rhymes did not kill him.
Exactly. Now, of course, I think they've already let the cat out of the bag for the new one coming out. Just by calling it Halloween Ends, you already know that Jamie Lee and Michael are going to have some badass fucking fight. One person's going to die or they both die. You know what I mean?
Well, John Carpenter just straight up came out and said, depending on how much money this makes, I might do another one. Like John Carpenter just came out and said it depends on how much money we make.
Yeah, well,
I think this is Blumhouse.
This is Blumhouse. Done after this. They won't have the rights to it anymore. But I mean, who knows who else would pick it up and make it their own?
If Blumhouse doesn't buy,
no,
I don't either. They didn't need to after H2O.
Some other, more fresh, brand new ideas take over.
I'll tell you this though: if I will be absolutely shocked if Blumhouse doesn't pick up Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street and get a 3-film franchise. Nightmare on Elm Street's going to be a little more expensive because Craven's estate is being really picky with it, but we know that Friday the 13th is coming out with new material, and if Jason Blum doesn't get the rights to that, I will be in absolute shock because Jason Blum's always talked about Friday the 13th, the real horror villain, Jason Voorhees,
boy.
But I will be genuinely shocked if the next Friday the 13th picture is not a Blumhouse film. I think Jason Blum
will be surprised either.
See, I think that he'll back the Brinks truck right up to the to the Friday the 13th estate. He'll throw every dollar he has to get the rights to that film because he knows it's gonna make money. Like you are
sure.
Just like look at what Halloween did. Look what Scream's doing, and even like the Blumhouse originals. Look at the Black Phone. Look what that movie just did. It's still pulling in money right now, and it was a limited theatrical run. The movie is still pulling in theatrical money. So the Black Phone shows that Blumhouse knows what they're doing, and not only does Blumhouse know what they're doing, they also are saying that their original horror is they don't need to have
all these sequels and prequex, like we can make more original films, and people are enjoying them, just like X.
X was so good.
Yeah,
X was so good. Original horror is.
Don't think
you haven't seen X.
That's just the title?
Yeah, it's just called X. It's got Mia Goth. What's that?
I may have to check that out.
Young scream queen, Jenna Ortega. It's so good, man. If you like, you said you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I guarantee you will adore this. This is a modern day Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
What I'm really excited about right now is the fact that Art the Clown, in Terrifier, has finally made it to the big screen. And boy, is he just tearing it up, literally.
I can't wait.
Because everything that I've read about the reviews are just over the top amazing. He's going to shock us in every other way imaginable that we just don't even know is possible. So
you are going to. Well, you know,
Thank
they've already
you!
signed on for a part 3, right?
Oh, obviously. I mean, the
Yeah.
fans and the people behind it, that whole film, have been trying to raise money for years, trying to get this sequel. And now that it's out there, it's really showing everyone that he's the real fucking deal. So when we think about some of these great icons of horror, Art the Clown's right the fuck up there, if you ask me. I even wanted to see something with the Sinister character. I thought his character was genius, that he's like this child demon. I thought it was a great film. And they didn't do anything past the second sequel. I don't think the second one did as well as the first. I really loved the first one.
Yeah, for sure.
But just as somebody new to carry the torch, because I mean, you can only take certain characters so far. I mean, I don't know. What more could they possibly do with Freddy?
I'm probably not the person to ask that.
We know everything about his character. There's like nothing hidden. Now with Jason, you have his father. And that is who's going to show up in this new film that for some reason they're saying is coming out next year. They must have already shot the motherfucker then. Because usually it takes a lot longer to do a film of that kind of magnitude, especially for the franchise.
Well, if you watch the fan film Vengeance, obviously you're a Jason Brooks fan. They have
that was amazeballs.
Yeah, Vengeance 2 is coming out very soon.
Haven't seen the second one yet, but the first one, holy shit!
Yeah,
I always said, and I know that there's Friday the 13th purists out there that probably shoot me for this. Part 6 was such a good fucking film. Jason Lives. One. In my opinion, okay, I'm definitely. We are now family. People always tend to try to kick me in the head whenever I say that. It was so good, and why couldn't they do a sequel that made sense with that?
That's when. Well, they did so many references to the Universal monsters in that movie, like Frank and Jason, how he comes back as a zombie. And then Karloff's Cafe, in honor of Boris Karloff. Like, there's so many Universal monster nods in there, because if we didn't have the Universal monsters, we wouldn't have had our generation's Universal monsters of, your Jason, Freddy, Michael. And so, like, to me, for them to just come out and say, like, these are who we're honoring, it's amazing. I love Friday 6. And I'll be honest with you, I think Friday 5, A New Beginning, is up there too. I get it's Roy Burns, whatever. It's fucking Jason throughout the whole movie, man. Yeah, there's a weird reveal at the end. The whole movie, that's Jason, and the movie's funny, it's campy. But I think the reason I like campy. 6 so much, they did not depend. There's no nudity at all in Friday 6. The only Friday film with titty none, and I think that was a huge gamble for them, and it worked really well.
It was probably, if I remember correctly, one of the highest grossing ones they did. It's because parents, especially back in those days, we're like, all right, this is actually okay. I can let my 14-year-old, my 15-year-old watch it, as long as they watch it with me, because it's gory or whatever. But it just goes to show you that in the genre, you don't need flesh to sell it, unless it's getting cut up, of course. But that's a different story. I mean, I get it. I mean, so many damn films back. All the trash horror. I don't know what your guys' stance on trash horror. Your Basket Case, some of those just off the cuff, weird ass shit that came out in the 80s. So many people just thought was so fucking good. Although I have to say, Toxic Avenger was fucking hilarious. Toxic Avenger is okay, but I don't know. I just having all that, rape scenes and stuff like that. I'm like, if it really doesn't have a place to be there, why do it?
Right. No.
It doesn't even need to have a place to be there. Yeah. I fucking hate sexual. Like, that's my trigger when it comes to movies. Like, I can watch anything, like literally anything.
Like, you can rip someone's intestines out, but I don't want to see rape. Like,
that's something I can't do it, man.
That just kind of hits home to a whole nother level of torture, if you ask me.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, to me, there's just, and like, there's ways to do it where you don't. Oh, wow.
Never heard of that one.
Killer condom, huh?
But like to me, it's just like you don't need. And I don't need to see a rape scene. Like if you're gonna do a rape scene, like show a guy drag a woman into a room and shut the door and that's it. I don't need to see anything. I don't need to hear her scream for 10 minutes. Like
just the idea that hey, this is probably happening is good enough.
Yeah.
But if you if you don't want your audience to walk the fuck out of the film, don't put it in there. Why is it necessary?
Hate it. Hate it.
I do too.
Well, we were talking about a movie a little bit ago, and I was gonna say like we didn't. Rob Zombie's Halloween is one. Like when we watched that movie, we watched the theatrical cut because the director's cut with that rape scene is just too much for me, man. I can't do it. I don't like it. Like I didn't literally like makes my skin hot.
And why the fuck does he cast his? I understand it's his wife, but why? Why do they have to cast her in every goddamn film he makes? Come on.
I can't talk shit because I would do the same thing. I could remake Jaws and she would play Bruce the Shark. Like, I'm serious. Dude. Like, I would put her in every single thing I do too. So I can't talk any shit, man.
Okay, but it's not gonna probably be as annoying as that.
Yeah.
Well, just my thing is, I just don't like the fact that she plays the same character in every movie. That white trash, gotta be half naked all the time, potty mouth. God, I work
as
but
role
like
as
I don't
baby
need
was fine.
Right,
I was fine.
Like, give me a little bit of depth to your.
She doesn't have any. I don't think. I just don't think she's got it.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, from what I've seen online, nobody else seems to think so either. Because when that Munsters trailer came out, that got dogged so hard.
I'm stoked for it. And listen, I'm not.
I mean, I'm happy to see it.
Yeah.
I am not a Rob Zombie fan.
I'm excited to see where he goes with it.
At all. Like, I'm not a Rob Zombie fan even this much. Like,
I love his music. Don't get me wrong.
I'm talking about. I mean, Rob Zombie, the filmmaker. I grew up with White Zombie, Rob Zombie, but
for sure.
Like, I'm very excited because the Munsters to me looks like that 70s cheese.
Yeah.
Like that's what it looks like to me, and that's what I want. I don't want the Munsters to come out here like fucking. I'm a skull fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see that in the Munsters, man. I want
could
my
you
Munsters.
imagine Herman Munster saying that?
Yeah.
No. I think
I would absolutely lose my shit.
Get up and walk
especially
out.
Because you got to remember,
what the hell?
Fred Gwynn is the one that was Herman Munster.
Yeah.
You don't want to go across that road,
bitch.
I'll come over there and skull fuck the shit out of you.
No.
Okay.
How can
Genghis.
you not like Rob Zombie?
There are certain Rob Zombie movies that I don't have a problem with. I loved House of a Thousand Corpses. I loved Devil's Rejects. That whole franchise right there. Loved it. His take on Halloween was just a little too much.
Yeah.
I feel that they tried to make it too real life-ish, not as far as him actually being this killer, but it was kind of far out there. And I mean, I love 70s horror, not all of it, but there is a lot there that is good. And I just feel kind of, he had to, I'm sorry, leave me alone. God damn it.
It's funny because Rob Zombie's Halloween, the first Rob Zombie's Halloween is the only Rob Zombie film that I've liked. That's it.
Really?
I hated part 2. Yeah, I didn't like House of a Thousand Corpses.
Part 2 didn't make any sense.
I hated part 2.
It was just a music video.
Yeah.
Like it was a music video. Yeah.
Stupid.
And
the only good part of Halloween 2 was Brad Dourif reprising his role.
Well,
anything Brad Dourif is in is just whoever character he's playing, he's just awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen him in a suck ass role. Seriously.
He's one of the most underrated villains of all time in The Exorcist 3 as the Gemini killer. Well, that's one of the best, villains. That the speech he gives when he's crying in that jail cell, like, dude, holy shit, that's acting 101 right there, man. Like, it's so good. Like, it's so
almost like you
good
can
to
do it
watch
on
that.
command.
Right.
That takes talent. But
sure.
I'm not sure, Kyler, what question I was supposed to see. We have quite a bit that has come down. So, and there was like this rise of, what is it? I Spit on Your Grave films. Out of nowhere, it's over. And they're up to like 5 or 6 of them now. I'm like, is there just like some fetish out there for that type of film or something? Because I'm just like, it was hard to take in the 70s and most people literally spit on it back then. Right. So it's, much like the Last House on the Left, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Too much.
It's
Too
like,
much for me.
haven't we had enough of that? Why do we have to continue to put this in culture? Because I mean, we already know, right? We know that it's something that is just absolutely horrible. Don't show it to me on the big screen. I would rather see somebody's head get chopped off.
And I'm being completely genuine.
Really.
Yeah, I'm being genuine when I say this. Like, I could have empathy and sympathy for a murderer. I don't know what that other person did. They could have deserved whatever they had coming to them.
What's
under
up,
no
Raffles? Good to
circumstance,
see you, brother.
under no circumstance whatsoever could I ever have sympathy or empathy for a rapist or a child molester, because there's never, ever, ever, ever any excuse, any reason for that to have happened.
Right.
Ever.
And
so
that's kind of the funny thing about the Freddy franchise. How did they get away with that? It's like it just slid right. But then again, they didn't put it out in front of your face until the remake.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you, like we were just talking about, you can give people, the audience, the idea that this could happen or is going to happen, but you don't have to actually fucking show it. Great question here. What is your favorite practical effect monster?
I know mine. I love the werewolf in American Werewolf in London.
I knew you were going to say that.
That to me is still the
Greatest
best werewolf transformation scene. Yeah, like when you do that werewolf transformation, like it's gold, man. He's ripping his shirt. I'm so hot, like that. Oh my god, like that. I always talk about my 3 favorite practical effect films. That's up there. The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing.
That's what I was.
Is up there.
Absolutely.
That's gonna be your favorite practical effects.
Yeah,
movie.
where he's the dog part.
Yeah,
I love that.
And then the OG Nightmare, man. Like, that was a low budget film, but you have the Johnny Depp bed scene. You got Tina being dragged up the wall. Like, that is such a fan. People forget that that's such a great practical effect movie. Just because like it's become so mainstream, but that movie was so low budget that Freddy Krueger is in the original Nightmare on Elm Street for 7 minutes.
Right.
He has 7 minutes of screen time in the OG because they just didn't have enough money to hire a great makeup artist. So they had to conceal him in the shadows or just use his voice or have Tina dragging herself or Sheet come out and get, or him coming up from a waterbed. You don't see Freddy Krueger in this movie. So I do see someone said Jason Goes to Hell when he shoves the head in the deep fryer. John, Jason Goes to, I will die on the hill. Jason Goes to Hell is fucking awesome. Like, that movie is so good. I'm not being facetious or anything. I love that movie. It's in my top 3 of that franchise. Dead serious. I think that movie's so good. We could do a whole podcast about that movie. Like, that
totally
movie, it changed my life when I was a kid. I'm being like, I got grounded for the first time because I refused to stop talking about how amazing it was that Freddy's glove came up and grabbed Jason's mask at the end of the movie. My mom was like, I'm done fucking hearing about this. If I hear you talk about this shit again, everywhere we went, I was like, watching Jason Goes to Hell, you're never going to believe what happens in it. Like, that was my Avengers crossover. Like, that was my Marvel Cinematic Universe crossover as a kid.
And then it only took
like 12 years.
Yeah, for them to make it.
After 12 years, we got Freddy vs. Jason. You couldn't give me a little bit better.
You probably talked about it for 12 years. Too.
I probably did. Yeah. Like, oh man, I remember when Freddy vs. Jason was announced, I was so amped. Oh my gosh.
Man. As far as creatures go, I was always a huge fan of the plant in Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay.
I thought that creature, as practical as they made that, because as I understand, it's like this ginormous fucking puppet.
Yeah.
With just somebody manning it, and I just, for something that wasn't even like a horror flick, I think that was really incredible. But I would also have to say the original Alien was pretty fucking good.
Yeah. The xenomorphs are great. But real quick, you don't think Little Shop of Horrors is a horror movie?
I mean, it is.
Okay,
but it's
I totally think it is. Yeah,
but I love it.
I also think Terminator is a slasher film.
That was what it was intended to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was not intended to become the lighthearted, lovable character. Look, I can rip my arm off. I got tons of fucking metal under me. That's not what that was about. It wasn't supposed to befriend a kid.
He kills he wants to kill every Sarah
every Sarah Connor in the phone book.
Yeah.
He literally goes through the phone book and gets every Sarah Connor in the first, like he's a total he hides behind a mask.
Moves them all away, regardless if they're the right one or not.
Right. He doesn't care. If your name's Sarah Connor, you better just watch out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Arnold sold it so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking good. Just dead face. Sarah Connor. Mm-hmm. Didn't even have to fucking think about it. Just blew him the fuck away.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. What's your take on the Conjure universe? I see The Nun is actually getting a sequel.
I love the Conjuring universe. I was a little bit disappointed in the first Nun.
A little.
Yeah. I had really high hopes for it, and it just didn't. It didn't live up to my. Nun? Yeah, it didn't live up to my expectations at all. Like I feel
no, it absolutely did not. It started out great. You have this nun who throws herself over and gets choked out. And you're expecting that. I mean, it was kind of genius a little bit when the priest and then the other nun that comes there, this supposed to be like an old nun, but you kind of know right off the bat that, that's the spirit of the nun working this, little trickery. I was thinking, okay, we might have something here. It's just now the gal that plays that character, the nun, is very good. They need to make her even scarier somehow.
Yeah, it wasn't as scary at all.
She was scarier in the Conjuring film than she
was
in her own.
For sure. I mean, she did what she could with what they gave her, but
the movie was beautiful. The cinematography
was, but just
there was no story.
There was no story at all.
Yeah, it was just guiding you to the next jump scare.
Yeah.
That's all it was doing.
Yeah, that's really all they did do. And it didn't land at all for me. And I was really disappointed because I was so excited because
we were there opening night.
Yeah. I mean, she scared me in The Conjuring, just, being in the back with
darkness. That's one of the best shots in the whole when the camera's panning over to the painting and then her hands come around the painting and come at Lorraine. Yeah. One of the best shots in the whole Conjuring universe.
But it just didn't land.
That's my least favorite.
To be honest.
There's only one Conjuring movie I dislike more than The Nun. Do you know what it is?
The Devil Made Me Do It.
Nope. I actually like that more than The Nun.
That just was like more of a cloak and dagger film. It wasn't even like.
I thought that like there was so many great shots in that movie, like the shot with them up on the mountain. Like I thought that was really good, and I love the shot at the beginning when Ed's talking to him. He's like, "Don't talk to it, don't talk to it." Like I know, Nathan, I'm sorry, man, but look, I'm not saying I love the movie. But like, don't get me wrong, it's down towards the bottom of the list, but there's no way.
The Annabelle.
Nope. No. There's no way that anybody on this planet can look me in my eyes and tell me seriously that they thought The Curse of La Llorona was better than The Conjuring 3. No way. No way.
Which one was that? The second one?
No, it's its own movie.
Or is it a standalone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Somebody might say that I suck for this, but it didn't interest me even when I saw a trailer for it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they were basically just trying to cash in on the success of other films by having something.
The thing that pisses me off is I grew up in a very, very Hispanic family with a lot of pride in our Hispanic culture, and La Llorona is Hispanic. That's a Mexican thing. And the movie takes place in California. I'm like, what the hell? Like, there's like very little to. Well, I mean, like, there's very little to the Mexican folklore that comes behind the tears of La Llorona, like the things that we grew up with, and like,
sure,
it's like that's one thing about this movie that I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Like, why? Why are they doing this? That's like making a movie that's a biopic of Bone Thugs and Harmony and having it set in fucking, I don't know, San Antonio, Texas. Like, I'm not gonna believe this shit. You know,
that would have
like,
never happened. Yes.
Yeah, it shit took place in Cleveland. What the hell are you gonna? This shit didn't take place in Florida. Like, what are we doing here?
John actually comes up with a very good question because my wife was actually in this film, Clown Motel Part 2.
I don't think we've seen that one. Is Felissa Rose in that one? Or
it's an indie film that you can get on Amazon.
Okay.
I know it's set for streaming services. I'm just not sure where you could get a physical copy, but I'm sure if you'd want to check it out, just to have, give your opinion, I'm sure my wife could probably send it to you. So
I just wrote it down. If she wants to send it to me, you have my email. I would love to check it out, man. That would be an honor to. Not even I mean, I'm not gonna like I'm gonna watch it honestly. Like, I would love to see the movie, not just because your wife is in it, but if somebody's recommending us to watch it, we will absolutely watch it. It would be an honor to watch it and let you know what we think.
For an indie film, it was pretty well done, I would have to say.
Okay.
It's not like an indie film that would make it to the big screen. So I think you might like it.
We love
Ari
it.
Lehman was in the first one too. So
I'm in an indie film that's coming on October 14th, The Bride of Killer Pinata, and I'm super stoked for you guys to see it, man. That'll be on Amazon Prime as well.
All right.
And I'm not saying this because it's me, but I have the best scene in the movie. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, as you know, I'm also trying to get into film as well. So if you need a 6'2", 280-pound monster,
always, man.
All right.
Every actor I've ever talked to says you just got to get into it however you can.
Right. Absolutely.
Awesome. What else here? Oh, Circus of the Dead. Talk about a crazy movie. That's another one that's, for those that are like big fans of, let's say, Clowns from Outer Space, the whole clown craze as is, because there's a very large amount of clown actors out there that have their own characters and stuff. So that one was also pretty good too. It's not related to Clown Motel, but I think it was probably inspired by it. So
okay,
could always check it out. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, let's take a quick commercial break if my producer is still there. I think he is. Is he there? All right, very good. Real quick, we're going to cut to the Reapers Underground Productions, which is my band management company, and let you all check out the bands of the Underground.
Den alten Mythos hinter sich zu lassen. Und so tastet sich blind von Zeitenufer zu Zeitenufer, bis ihm in all dieser Schwärze endlich ein wegweisendes Licht aufgeht.
That's right. Lots of really good stuff coming up. We got Grave Next Door starting their fall tour here later this month on September the 16th. They will be in Youngstown, Ohio with Tommy Stewart's Direwolf. Great package tour that I put together for them. So keep checking the dates and see where they're going to land in your area. As well as my band, which is Drop Dead Damn It, is about to drop a lyric video just in time for Halloween for Velvet Darkness on October the 1st. As always, if you're in a band or know somebody that is and they're looking for excellent representation, have them check me out. All right. And that's reapersundergroundproductions@gmail.com. All right.
Nice.
So we are back. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Speaking of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, they just got a video game. I don't know if you're gamers. That is going to be sick as fuck. I have seen some of the play in it, and it just looks amazing. We're going to get it no matter what.
Yeah,
it's gonna be dope.
It's crazy. Before they came out and said they were having a video game, I'm like, I see Killer Clown everywhere. Like, what's going on? Like, I see it so much now. And then they come out and they say that they're making this video game, and I'm like, now I get it. Yeah.
Well, it really is a cult classic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which, like I said, has inspired so many of like the haunt industry for people to do clown characters. And they've gone on to, like I said, they're just tons of clown films coming out, tons of them.
Yeah.
Most of them indie, but it's happening and people dig it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's like that childhood fear thing, like you're trying to get over it, or I don't know. But I remember watching Poltergeist back in the 80s, the very first one, and that clown come out from underneath the bed. I was like, every single night, flashlight, okay, nobody there, I can go to sleep. So
right. Yeah, for sure.
Different ball game today. Everybody wants to see a clown bite somebody's head off. So everything changes. So I would have to ask, what was your favorite interview so far on your show?
When I interviewed her.
Okay.
Whatever.
I mean, like, honestly, like there's different ones that like I could say right now for different reasons.
For sure.
Josh Eppard, the drummer from Coheed and Cambria, was huge because he was one of the first like big ones that I was able to do. Chris Conley from Saves the Day, because he's been one of my heroes since I was a kid. James and Chelsea from Dead Meat. Being able to meet them was really, really cool. Tyler Main, who played Michael in Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Wow.
John Mazzari, who was the composer of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like he's amazing. Like he's one of the coolest dudes. You know what? I'm gonna settle on Carmela McNeil. She is
an amazing human being.
She's the nurse, the naughty nurse in Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, the one that gets killed with the gun.
Man.
And she's become a really, really good friend of Ashley and mine.
Nice.
But I mean, there's every interview I do, we're up to like episode 330 now. So I mean, there are so many that I could say for different reasons, and I appreciate whether it's a podcaster that has 10 subscribers or someone like Dead Meat, or recently I had Mark Holton, who played Francis in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Like that was huge for me.
That's killer.
I've said on numerous occasions, even before I got this interview, that Pee-wee's Big Adventure is the only perfect movie that's ever been made. And when I was able to get in contact with Mark Holton, like that was huge for me. So that was a big one for us, was Mark Holton. I really, really, really liked that one. Man, and like I said, there's just so many different people that are running through my mind right now. Michael Smallwood was great. He played the doctor in Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. Like he was just a great, great guy. And I love it when I interview YouTubers and podcasters, because they know the struggle and like they come with it and they're there and they're having the time of their life just hanging out with me. I can't wait to have you on there. Hopefully your amazing wife will come on and I can talk to you guys about the first horror movie you guys watched.
Absolutely.
That would be dope. You know, I grew up in a video store. My
Mhm.
mom and dad owned a mom and pop video store called Family Video
Oh,
or
they were
Downtown Video. Downtown
such
Video.
the best.
Family Videos.
I miss those
closed.
days.
Yes,
Yeah.
It was
we were
always
just talking
cool to
about
find
that
out
the
what the
other
new
day.
release was going to be.
Yeah, you'd have to read the back instead of, you know.
Yeah, you got
getting-
to literally look at the thing and, you know,
Yeah.
get somewhat about what it's going to be about. And now it's just
We've
like you
talked
just
about
have
that.
to catch a trailer and
YouTube-
hope you can figure it out.
Right.
See, when we were kids, YouTube was literally walking up and down the aisles,
Like
looking
picking
at
something out, you know, that caught your eye.
by
And
the
then
cover
you
art.
and then you read the back and you're like, oh, this sounds pretty good. Let's check it out.
Nathan's
That's
right.
how it was
CJ
with
Graham.
music too.
Yeah.
Nathan down here, he said CJ Graham was an awesome one. CJ, he played Jason in Friday 6.
Mhm.
He was Victor Miller, the guy that created Friday the 13th. Like I would
love if you're listening, CJ, come to the
I
devil.
was so nervous before Victor Miller. Like I was literally like shaking. Like this guy's like, oh my gosh, it's fucking Victor Miller. That one was
Legendary.
big.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, like Lisa Wilcox from Nightmare 4. But you know
Oh,
what?
wow.
Another awesome one. Patricia Tallman. She played Barbara in The Night of the Living Dead 1990.
Yes.
She is phenomenal. And if we're talking about people that have grown with us since the show, Joy Tanner.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
We have a local charity here, something that Ashley and I do. We're very, very big with autism. Autism
As are we.
is something for Ashley and I that is extremely serious, something that we are extremely proud to be supportive of. And I'm not going to say an amount of money because I don't think that's very polite, but Joy Tanner gave a sizable donation after doing an interview with us to one of our local charities.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what this charity does is it supplies iPads and laptops to nonverbal autistic kids, and the money 100% of it's called Jasmine's Voice. If you guys want to look it up on Facebook or on Instagram, Jasmine's Voice.
We definitely will. Our twin son is autistic, so yeah, it definitely hits home for us.
Yeah, and like they supply iPads and stuff to children, and they're like moving across the whole state of Michigan now, and like they're working with the Detroit area, and it's like this is such an amazing thing because there are families that are in such a hard spot that they can't afford to get an iPad for their children.
Absolutely.
And people are like, oh, it's just an iPad. Listen, that's how they communicate. Like they don't, that's how they can tell you they're hungry. That's how they can tell you I need to go to the bathroom is with this iPad. That is their voice, you know, like, and 100% of this money goes to help out those kids. That is just something to me. And Joy, when we were talking about it and she heard about it, like the people from Jasmine's Voice ended up getting in contact with me, like, you know, Joy Tanner? I was like, yeah, she's the shit. And they told me what happened. And I was like, wow, she's just even more than her as an amazing actress. It just showed how amazing of a woman she is.
She just has a really great heart, and she's a good person for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we may play scary characters, but guess what? We all have hearts too.
Oh yeah,
humans.
The horror community are like the sweetest, kindest people that you'll ever meet in the horror community.
Everybody always thinks we're like so weird. Not
that's
really.
What we were talking about that the other day too. Like when I was growing up and I liked horror all year round, I was weird back then, and you know it's kind of cool now. Well I am weird, but
you know, because you're our age. If you were, and I don't mean this to be condescending towards anybody that's younger. I promise that's not what I'm trying to do right now. But,
I'm not. I'm way younger than you.
But if you were a horror fan before 1996, you were fucking weird.
Yeah, you really were.
When Scream came out in 1996, Scream made horror cool.
Yeah,
it was okay to like horror movies after Scream. But if you liked horror movies pre-Scream, you were a fucking weirdo, dude.
Yeah.
And like
you're gonna be a serial killer.
I think that's why the horror community is so genuine and sweet and kind with each other, because we know what it feels like to be the odd one out, the freak, the weirdo. Like it sucks, man. So I think that's why the horror community is so genuine and kind and loving towards each other, because we know what that feels like to be alone. You know, I'm not trying to go into like a fucking therapy session here, but like we know what it feels like to be the weird ones, the outcasts. But now we have these abilities to literally look at each other in the eyes and have meaningful conversations and not be the weird ones anymore.
But I'm not mad at Scream for making horror cool.
No,
like it just made it blow up more.
It made more people respect it.
Horror isn't just
also gave
Halloween.
us another icon.
It's all year long. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, look at Green Day made punk rock cool back in the 90s, man.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for Green Day, punk rock wouldn't have gotten to this, the area that it did back in the 90s, man. Dookie revolutionized punk rock in the 90s. That's what Scream did for horror movies in the 90s. Now, obviously, it was done before that. I'm not saying Green Day was the first punk rock band to get big. Obviously, the Ramones, the Sex Pistols.
No, but
it
opened the kids up to finding out about the originators, like the Misfits and
like
you said,
just
the Ramones and Black Flag and all those guys.
Just like Nirvana did for the grunge scene. Like you had that one band that blew up and showed this younger generation what these amazing bands could be. And if that was your gateway drug, and that Scream was the gateway drug of horror back then. And it still is. Like Scream is still kicking ass. Good for you, Scream. I love Scream. I'm not downplaying Scream or talking shit on it.
Oh yeah, I love it.
It did something amazing and it made horror a mainstream thing. What's not to love about that?
Right.
Speaking of which, there is a current competition out there by faceofhorror.org in which one person will be selected to appear in a photo shoot with Kane Hodder. Yours truly, the big bad devil daddy himself, Reaper, is one of those contestants. And on Tuesday, you can definitely go. I have shared it on all my social media. So if you follow me on the Underground anywhere at all, you're going to know about it. September 6th, next Tuesday. All you got to do is click on the link I've left you and vote for me. If you want to see me go toe to toe with Kane Hodder, I think that would be awesome. He's also a hero of mine. Sure. So thought I'd put that out there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Best of luck to me and the rest of the thousands of people.
Yeah. Best of luck to you. That's awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So, but man, thank you all for coming on. I was looking so forward to this interview, and it has been nothing short of probably one of the most favorite interviews I've done to date. That's for sure.
Thank you.
I definitely, me and my wife Mischief would definitely like to, come on your show at some point, and we can definitely throw down about everything. So
we will set it up tomorrow.
Been an absolute blast.
For anybody that's watching, if you want, go to youtube.com/Sledgehammer Horror. We are about to go live at 9:00 Eastern here in 45 minutes, and we are going to be ranking the Final Destination franchise from least favorite to favorite. So stop over there and see what we have to say about the Final Destination franchise.
Hell yeah. And thank you for everybody out there in the comments section. You guys have been absolutely awesome. That's what we love to see here at the Underground.
Yeah.
So find yourself a good flick, check their show out first, then pick a horror flick to watch. But most importantly, stay heavy.